Welcome to the AfterMat, your source for WWE pay-per-view recaps. I'm your host, the People's Champ Cal, and alongside me, as always, I have the Glamazon, my tag team partner, Delisha. Hey, Delisha.
Hey.
So today we'll be talking about Survivor Series, which happened yesterday, and I'm super excited because, as you know, I really enjoyed it. We're gonna get into all our high points and low points later, but I think this, how we always go over how we felt in general. I think this is one of the best pay-per-views in years. I thought it was great. We always talk about how the card is so well on paper it's really good, a really good card, but it never lives up to what we have. I feel like this one really lived up to its potential. So I was really excited to see about that. I know we probably have our Sting in the rafters hanging around in the background. Joe, our fact checker, I'm sure he's around and he's gonna give us his 2 cents later on as well.
Yeah,
and we do. I want him just to drop from the ceiling one time with a baseball bat and face paint because that would be awesome. And I'm sure we're gonna have our Brock correspondent, the Road Raider himself, Tom Zambino, come in a little later when we talk about the Brock match. But what did you think overall as the night went on and all that?
Overall, this was a pretty good weekend in wrestling. In total, I really enjoyed. I enjoyed it more than I thought it would be. So I guess it's good that I set my expectations down low, though that in the end they were fairly satisfied.
Yeah, I know you want to talk about. You had a really good opinion about takeovers. So if you want to give a few minutes about that, I'll give a few words about that in a few minutes. Right now, you can do that because I watched it, but I was in and out of it. So maybe you can give a better synopsis of it and what you thought.
Yeah, Takeover. This might have been one of the best takeovers I've seen since I've started watching Takeover, as far as the last maybe 2 years. There was not a bad match on the card. I think my favorite, besides the War Games, because it was just so much action packed. It might have been the women's match because I was ready for spoiler if you haven't takeover, so just mute it now. I was really glad to have Ember Moon win because she finally deserved it. But they made sure everyone got their shine with Kairi Sane, and Ruby Rose. They all had time to shine. Sorry.
Wait, no, I don't even know any of those people. They weren't in it. All I know is there's Peyton Royce. She was in it, right?
Yeah, Kairi
Nikki
Sane.
Cox.
And Kairi Sane from the winner of the Mae Young Classic.
Was that the Sailor Moon girl?
Yeah, it was the Sailor Moon girl.
Yeah, Ruby Rose wasn't in it, right?
I meant to say Nikki Cross. Sorry.
Okay, Nikki Cross. Yeah.
I think Ruby Rose is a little injured right now.
Ruby Riott.
Right.
Ruby
Rose.
Isn't she like a hot actress?
Maybe.
Yeah, from Orange is the New Black, I think. Anyway,
that's my excuse.
You like Ember Moon winning? I know because I was saying that once. I was like, "There's no way she should beat her." Because remember, we were at the last takeover. I'm like, "She better not win. She better not win." And thank God, that was a close match. And Asuka won, and I called it. I'm like, Asuka should relinquish the title, then move to WWE, the main roster, and she did. And I was like, the first person probably winning now is gonna be Ember Moon because she was the one who's contesting Asuka when we went. So I guess you got your wish. That was gonna happen, and you're happy. But the main event, I was talking about War Games. I was like, I think on the car ride when we went to go see Tom and Kimber, I was explaining to you what War Games used to be, where it used to be 2 tag teams, but it was each member's 5 members each or something like that. And every 2 minutes, another member from the team. So it started out 1-on-1, and then after 2 minutes, one member would come in, so it'd be 2-on-1, and then 2-on-2, then 3-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, whatever it was, until then the cages would be locked. And then that's the only time you can get a pin or submission. And this time, what did they do it as 3 men went in the beginning, right? Because there's 3 different tag teams or 4.
We started with Adam Cole and
No, we started with the 3 singles stars.
Oh right, yeah, you're right. We started with 3, and then
was it Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and somebody else?
Eric Young.
Yeah,
Eric Young.
Yeah, and then after a certain amount of time, one tag team was unlocked completely, right? And they came in. So it was a 3-on-1 kind of thing at a point. And then it was 3-on-3-on-1. And then eventually it was 3-on-3-on-3, right?
Yeah.
That's how they did it? Okay, yeah. And there were some really spots how I think Roderick Strong might suplexed Adam Cole off the top onto everybody else. I saw some really cool spots.
There was no way they were going to let him just drop to the ground. It was this is not Jeff Hardy. They're not going to let them do that anymore.
The Adam Cole team one, I forgot they're called Adam Cole and the New DX or whatever the hell they're called. What's their names?
The Undisputed Era.
Undisputed Era. That's such a stupid name. Were they Red Dragon or something? The other one?
Yeah, I don't like the stable name, but they're all pretty good performers. I think this match to me solidified their performing status because I didn't watch the indie. I don't really watch any scene because honestly, there's already 40,000 hours of wrestling to watch just in WWE alone. I can't do it all.
Yeah.
But I think this match solidified their wrestling. I think because this is the first like fully fledged match where they got to do things probably. But I think they were the right people to win. They're the new people on the block and needed to get over somehow.
Now we could probably ask our fact checker who knows this for sure. I heard that Drew McIntyre is injured. Was he injured prior to the match, or did he get injured during the match?
I don't know about prior to the match, but definitely it seemed like he got hit in the groin during the match.
Okay. Because yeah, so the new champion is whatever that guy's name is, Andrade, right? CN.
Andrade, CN, almost.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. I was. What?
Glad he won.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, as long as Asuka won and she's not even there anymore, it doesn't matter to me. And like I like the Authors of Pain, but they eventually lost again. So I got to see how these new guys are, the Undisputed Degeneration X, whatever they're called, and Attitude Era, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Devin and Adam Cole. I got to see how they are.
I actually saw on Twitter that it was almost poetic that a year ago, I think to the day, people were booing that he couldn't wrestle till today where they're all chanting for him to win.
Who's Thomas?
Because about a year ago they were booking him like poorly because he was supposed to be like a face, but it wasn't really going well until they booked him as a heel, and he's been like over and been doing exponentially well. So.
Now he should team with Ty Dillinger, and their tag team should be called 110%.
That would be cool.
Because then there it is. Well, if they do that, they better send me money. That's all I'm saying. Because I think that's a great name. 110%.
Good thing we record this so we can like trademark
Especially the fact that I'm hearing that Ty Dillinger's supposed to be turning heel soon.
Oh.
There you go.
That's supposed to be turning face.
Is he not already?
Well, whatever it is, that should be the new tag team. And I don't know. Any last other thoughts about TakeOver before we get into the pre-match?
For those of you who didn't watch it, I strongly suggest you do. That's my takeaway. It was an A+ TakeOver.
Your grade for it was an A?
Yes, it was 110%.
Tom, our Renee Young of the show, our Brock correspondent, says that the Ty Dillinger tag team might make him less lame. So that'd be cool. Ty Dillinger and Andres, whatever his name is, together so one guy's the perfect 10, the other guy's 100. Put them together, you have 110%, and that's their new tag team. And I'm shipping that right now. So if it happens, WWE, call me. I have a lot of great creative ideas, which are actually going through because I know you've been texting me when stuff happens. He goes, "Oh, did you watch this yet? Because you called it." I'm telling you, they watch our shows or something. I don't know what it is, but did you watch? Oh, you didn't see this. You didn't see the pre-show, right? Because you came in right when it started.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll give you a brief recap of what happened. Elias fought Matt Hardy. I don't know why. Matt Hardy tried to use his experience and brawling nature, but Elias' size and strength proved to be the difference. He dominated Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy did hit the side effect, but then it wasn't enough because Elias hit him with the drift away and picked up the win. The next match was the Cruiserweight Championship with Enzo Amore against Kalisto as a rematch from, I guess, was Raw or maybe 205 Live. I'm not sure where it was. Basically, Enzo pretty much cheated throughout the entire match using all these little underhand tactics. Eventually, Kalisto was able to gain some momentum, but wasn't able to capitalize on it. And then Enzo hit the Jadunzo and got the win and retained the championship. And the final opening match was probably a punishment to these two guys, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, against Breezango. I love Breezango while they were the Twin Peaks Fashion Police version. I don't think they've been as good since, but yeah. So it was a pretty good match actually. Like, it was pretty cool to see like how like they kind of really did a good job of showing off the talent of Owens and Zayn, but not taking away from Breezango because they were able to do some really cool moves. But Breezango went for their move called the Last Dance. Owens saved Zayn and then nailed the pop-up powerbomb for the pin. So Owens and Zayn were your winners there. That was pretty much it for the pre-match kickoff show. Then we went into the first match, which is like a dream match to see. You know, always talk about like the Shield, like their main enemies have always been the Wyatts. If you guys remember, like coming up through all those times, and at one point it was Evolution. These 3-man stables are pretty cool to see when they have really good names. Unlike the Attitude Era Disruption. What is it again? Undisputed Era? Yeah. That. Oh, come on. Anyway, so these 3-man stables have good names like the Shield and New Day and Evolution and the Wyatt family. Those are awesome. I mean, Wyatt family eventually added more people, as did Evolution. But you know, these are cool matches. But I never really thought of the New Day fighting the Shield until this happened, and this was a great match. A dream match that pretty much set the tone for the night. Like to see all these other dream matches kind of happen and like go really well. Ambrose was the opening target for all the New Day's attacks. They hit him with 2 unicorn stampedes. Big E hit a spear to the outside. Ambrose took a lot of that barrage and kept taking it. Rollins tried to save him, but Big E hit him with the double midnight hour, and they were about to win. But then came the big dog, and you know you can't stop the biggest face in the industry right now when it's not Cena. Reigns came and cleaned house. He did the triple powerbomb off the top rope or second rope, whatever it was, and they picked up the win. So it was a good match. What did you think of it overall? And any spots for you?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match. I don't know, Vicky's spear from the ring onto, I think it was Ambrose. It was like, God damn, dude. It's like I feel like if he would have hit the it might have just like bust through it. I don't know. He's so strong. But like the whole match from start to finish, I was just into it, and I'm really glad that these two got to work together because, well, one day, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. The New Day are really great on the mic, and then Rollins can be good on the mic when he's allowed free reign.
Right.
No pun. But so it was really cool to see them to go back and forth. And even though like the New Day won, they still didn't lose because they put on one heck of a match. And it was just a great match.
This was a clean victory that didn't show anybody being weak. In my opinion, I thought it was great back and forth, and no one was shown really weak. I think we saw a lot this evening, a lot of matches where there were clean victories, but no one was shown as like a weak individual kind of thing or a team. We just want to say hi to the people in the chat right now too. We have Tom Zambino, our correspondent, our Brock correspondent, as well as Alex. My friend Alex is there. Tom is pointing out, how can I forget 3MB? Because you know Jinder Mahal, man, that's my boy. I'm trying to distance Jinder Mahal from the pay-per-view because I feel he was robbed on SmackDown. He should have been in the main event against Brock Lesnar because he would have won. He's won every match cleanly since he's been champion. You know, so he could have easily beaten Brock, no problem. I think they don't want to show Brock being weak, so that's why. Because you know he has the whole power of India behind him, so
powerful stuff.
He's not going to lose to Brock Lesnar. So yeah, 3-man band. That was a good one too. The other thing I was gonna say is when I texted you during the pay-per-view saying like, did you realize that every match was pretty much a heel fighting a heel or a face fighting a face, except for what was the one match that I said? Oh, Alexa versus Charlotte was the only.
The traditional.
Traditional one like that's like mix and match, but like other than like all the real other matches, they're all heels versus heels or faces versus faces, except for that one women's title match.
That was a good call.
I didn't notice that. That was weird. That was kind of weird. But had Natalie stayed the champion, we would have had heel versus heel, and that would have been okay. Number 2, the second match of the night was a Survivor Series elimination match, featuring the women's side, with Team Raw being captained by Alicia Fox, featuring Sasha Banks, Bayley, Nia Jax, and Asuka, against Team SmackDown, which is captained by Becky Lynch, featuring Tamina, Natalya, Carmella, and Naomi. The match started off pretty fast and furious. There's a huge shock at the beginning when Bayley rolled up team captain for Becky Lynch, eliminating Becky Lynch. Tamina came in immediately after and cleaned house and started by crushing Bayley and then doing her Superfly splash and pinning Bayley, so Bayley was eliminated. She then continued her onslaught on Nia Jax, forced her out of the ring, kept beating her outside the ring, and then rolled in at the 9 count, and Nia was counted out, so Nia was eliminated. Naomi came in, snuck up later in the match, and rolled up Alicia Fox, eliminating the team captain Alicia Fox. So Alicia Fox is now eliminated. Sasha was, and this is like a weird thing because the referee did like kind of a weird 3, but I could have sworn Alicia Fox shoulder might have went up or something. There was some like weird thing that happened there. That's why no one was sure she was actually eliminated.
Yeah.
But like he pushed her out, and then Sasha came in because it was a mistake. Sasha came in and then caught Naomi off guard and put her in the bank statement. Naomi tapped, so Naomi was eliminated. Then there's some back and forth action until Asuka was tagged in, and Carmella tried to prove herself to be a big, tough girl, and went after Asuka, but Asuka retaliated with some brutal kicks and then pinned her. So Carmella was eliminated. Sasha was able to lock in the bank statement and Natalia later in the match, but Tamina saved her. That allowed Natalia to lock the sharpshooter in, and Sasha tapped out. So Sasha's eliminated. Now it's Asuka against Tamina and Natalia, and we know that the Empress of Tomorrow is not going to look bad. So she quickly took down both members. First, she submitted Tamina with an armbar, so Tamina's now eliminated. And then Natalia was put into the Asuka lock, and she tapped, so Natalia's eliminated. This left Asuka as a sole survivor and giving Team Raw the victory. So at this point, we have Team Raw up 2-0. And that's when I got concerned because you knew, and I told you that it was going to be 3-3 going to the final match, and we'll get to that. But that means some of my favorites are going to lose. And I was so upset about that because I wouldn't have mind seeing the women's side win for SmackDown because I feel like they could have done something with Asuka and got her, like, argue with Nia. Her and Nia fought on the outside against each other who's the bigger dog for the next shot at the championship. And
or how they eliminated Nia by keeping her outside the ring. They could have done the same with Asuka. That way she wouldn't have been technically pinned. She would still be undefeated and being submitted or pinned.
Yeah. Tom's he still sees Charlotte as a heel, so maybe just the way she talks and stuff like that. The promo she cut is very face. Like as long as her dad's like around, she's gonna be a face right now with her dad's health being the way it is. They're gonna have that thing with her. So what do you think about this match? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It was a really good match. I'm telling you that to me, Tamina and Nia face off gave me life. It was like I was saying, family feud time. I just loved it. But I like as we were saying with other matches, everyone sort of got some moment of shining. There wasn't a weak point. And one thing to point out, this is one of the first times in a while I think they showed all the entrances because usually they just get cut off like showing a like that. So it was nice that they got the time for people on TV that is to see all of them come out.
Right, especially if you're gonna have a 4-hour event, you better show all the entrances.
Exactly, and one that even cut short time. So
right. Well, sometimes they do go to like when they had the entrance, they do go back to like the promo footage, which I kind of hate because I'm like, remember when my little favorite comes out later, they cut to the back footage. I'm like, oh, if they don't show her wink, I'm gonna be really mad because she does that for me every time. So, but she didn't even do it this time because the camera wasn't really completely on her. And I don't know. That was kind of weird that she didn't do it. Maybe she thought they're going to introduce her later again where she does it the second time and she does it, but maybe she got confused. I forgive her.
Yeah, the women's match, I would have been happy with either side of winning, but they're all good, strong performers when they're given the chance to showcase it. So I would have been happy either way with this match.
But the next match was what upset me was the United States champion representing SmackDown, Baron Corbin, against the Intercontinental champion, The Miz. Miz started off fast and furious because he's motivated by the Maurice's presence ringside, and she was the target of Corbin's social media diatribe. Corbin took whatever he had that Miz unleashed on him, and then when he was able to gain the advantage, he started taunting Maurice. This ignited the fire in Miz, who kind of like went all out on him, just jumped on him, started hitting him. It was crazy. I'd never seen the Miz like that fired up like that before. But Corbin quickly stymied that attack. This caused the Miz Taraj to intervene, but he took both members of the Miz Taraj out. Miz started landing the it kicks on Corbin, and then went for the drop kick in the corner, but Corbin turned that into an end of days and got the pin and won. Then talked some shit afterwards on the mic. I didn't want to see the Miz lose that, man. It was terrible. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted the Miz to win too. And then Corbin had the nerve to mess up the catchphrase. It's when my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut, not go quiet or whatever he said. I was like, get it right. Right.
I didn't even know that was a thing. So that's the thing?
Yeah. The Miz does that like all the time.
Oh yeah, but I fast forward through everything, you know that. So unless like when
you keep missing all the little minute details.
That is And any thoughts about that match besides like how I think it was a good match still, and like I mean neither of them looked weak, but I just sucked that Corbin wins because we were talking about how Corbin was, kind of like looked down upon for a while. Like he lost his Money in the Bank thing and all that. He was in the doghouse for a while. Now he's like beating the Miz on Survivor Series.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: he's good at getting heat on himself from the crowd. So
Yeah.
at least he's good with that front. And like they did both put on a good match. So I was happy with the match, just not with the outcome because it wasn't what the win.
So the next match was, I find us saying this every time. Like we were talking about, I guess if you call it through our first few episodes of AfterMat, we talked about how the tag team division is so lacking and we're interested to see how it goes. I feel like the last 3 or 4 AfterMats, we've been saying the best match of the night has been the tag team matches. And I think it carried to this pay-per-view because the next match was the Raw Tag Team Champions, Sheamus and Cesaro, who to this day I still say have the best intro. I love their intro against the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. And they came out with a little fire themselves with their little rap for the Uso Penitentiary thing. That was cool too. And this was a great match. Once again, neither of them look weak. Neither team looked weak. And there were some amazing spots this match with some of these double team maneuvers. It was a pretty evenly fought match. Both teams had their moments throughout the contest. The Uso speed and technical skills allowed them to gain upper hand during most of the match. But the Raw champions, Sheamus and Cesaro, had sheer power, brute power to counter a lot of the offensive. We thought that Raw Tag Team Champions would win when Cesaro had Jay locked in the sharpshooter and Sheamus leveled Jimmy with a bro kick, but Jay muscled out of the sharpshooter. They went to go finish the Usos off with that Doomsday Device white noise hybrid move, but the Usos countered it with a Samoan drop off the top. This led to a series of super kicks, and then there's a tag where Jimmy jumped to the outside with a tag onto, I think it was Cesaro, and then Jay got into the top rope and did a splash into Sheamus for the pin. So your winners were the Usos. So now what is it, 2-2 in favor? It's tied up 2-2 for Raw and SmackDown. Isn't it always Sheamus getting pinned? Always?
It seems like it.
I think it always is.
But yeah, this was a pretty good match. I was rooting for Usos because they're one of my faves. And I think they probably needed the win more than Sheamus and Cesaro. Because I feel like the SmackDown Tag Team Champion, the SmackDown teams still kind of need that elevation because they're still working out some kinks. But all in all, like you said, even the loser, didn't really lose because they put on a great match. And I was happy to see Cesaro and Sheamus get some shine. And after this, I'm kind of interested in seeing how the respective tag team divisions go forward from here.
I love like just the way they've been doing the tag teams. Like I was so nervous about where it's going to go because we don't really have to. To be fair, though, we are seeing the same tag teams over and over, though. I really want to see what's coming up next. I guess that will be your Undisputed Era, right? That's it? Yes. Undisputed Era eventually come up. Authors of Pain come up. But still, we have a lot of talent. Like, I mean, I don't really like the Team Hype Brothers or whatever they're called. I don't like them. Breezango, like, I don't see them getting a push ever. The Ascension, I don't see them getting a push ever. But, like, there are a lot of tag teams. Like I said, I always loved those vaudevillain guys. They were great with their intros and their black and white. I know one of them is gone now. But still, like, I liked some of those. And then, like, apparently, was the team American Alpha was pretty good until they broke them up. So, like, and what happened? Isn't there Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable now? What happened to Shelton Benjamin?
They lost their match.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, they had the tag team championship match, I think, this past Tuesday, and they lost.
Well, whatever it is, I just feel like I like where the division's going, but I wish there's a future to it. Like, there's, other tag teams as opposed to like the 4 that's been fighting every time.
That's why I feel like sometimes when it comes to this time of year, we're kind of just coasting into a Royal Rumble. I mean, I don't, as we'll get to later about, setting things up for WrestleMania. So like again, you said there's great tag divisions on both rosters. Just the story behind them seems to get lost in the shuffle sometimes.
Also in the chat, Tom was saying that he does love the entrance for the bar. I always wonder what is Sheamus saying because you can never hear what he's saying. And plus now he's got the mouthpiece, so it's just like like that when he talks. But like I wonder what he's saying when the entrance is happening. Tom also misses the vaudevillains. He says and the Ascension was awesome, but they got no respect. I think because they're too much of a ripoff of the Legion of Newman, not a good ripoff.
Yeah. I mean, they were really over at NXT. I just once they got to the main roster, they just got buried.
That's because they tried to make them like they tried to make them when they got once they got to the main roster. They tried to make the Ascension more like a knockoff of the Road Warriors.
Yeah, I mean they were kind of that in NXT, but more like low key. They were still like their own tag team, just like driving through the division. I think.
We know Vince likes to ruin things.
Yeah, Vince does like to ruin things, and he loves nostalgia. So yeah, it's a shame because they were a really good tag team, and they seem to have really good chemistry. So it's a shame.
Oh yeah, I meant to say Cesaro, not Sheamus. What's Cesaro saying? But you guys probably got my point when I said the mouthpiece. So, next match. Okay, I can't really say the name, but the Raw Women's Champion Lil Miss Bliss went against the SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. And this was probably the one that broke my heart in the night because I love Lil Miss Bliss, and I despise Charlotte. I mean, she's completely talented. I don't get me wrong. Like I can't even say the PH word. She's a great wrestler, but I just don't like her. She's just, like I'd rather see Becky Lynch or somebody or Naomi or Natalia or anybody else in the SmackDown roster as a champion. I'm not a fan of hers. But yeah, so Flair used her size and strength to dominate the diminutive diva, Lil Miss Bliss, who I love so much. You know why she lost? I think because she didn't win to me in the beginning of the match. I think that's why she did not win. But 5 Feet of Fury was able to turn the tables when she's using a lot of flurries of like kicks and punches, and was able to quell a lot of Charlotte's attacks. Finally, a devastating powerbomb allowed Charlotte to gain momentum back, and then she hit natural selection on Alexa Bliss. Oh, crap. Turn off. Thank you. And then Lil Miss Bliss kicked out of it, and then as Flair went for a moonsault, Lil Miss Bliss was able to avoid it and then hit her little corner DDT. Flair kicked out of it and then was able to lock in the figure 8, which Bliss tapped out to, and your winner was Charlotte Flair. So now it's up 3-2 in favor of SmackDown now, because we knew that was going to happen, obviously, because the next match was Rock against AJ. But this was a good match. I mean, like they didn't really squash Lil Miss Bliss, but it was still a good match. I just really wish she had won.
Yeah, I feel the same. I mean, I wanted her to win, well, mainly because I like her more as well, and also because she could have lauded that as her next, I guess, notch on her belt of her defeating everyone. So the 4 Horsemen, that would have been like her beating them all 4 of them, but they didn't let her have it. I am tired of Charlotte winning everything, but I don't want to come off as being like, I don't know, a hater. I don't know, but because like you said, Charlotte is talented, but she is the one that they're pushing for everything. But we shall see. I don't know where we go as far as championship wise for SmackDown. Every one of them who were in the women's traditional match could have a claim to the title, and I'm still curious on how they'll let Carmella do her cash in. I'm curious on how that will happen. But
do you think by this time next year? I don't think this will ever happen for the SmackDown side, but do you think by this time next year we could have, as Raw Women Champion, we have Nia Jax, and as SmackDown Women's Champion we have Tamina, and they face each other at Survivor Series, and have a what do you call annoying member in every corner, so we could have like The Rock, Roman Reigns, and the 2 Fatu brothers in one corner, an annoying in every corner. Or would that match just be annoying?
I don't know if we'll go that far, but Tamina and Nia Jax face-off would be amazing to see again.
So overall, you thought that match was good? The Raw, the women's match.
Yeah, they're both good workers, and Alexa Bliss doesn't disappoint.
No, she doesn't ever, unless she doesn't wink. Okay, so now we're going to the next match number 6, which is our WWE Champion AJ Styles against the WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar. And we can't have a Brock Lesnar match talk without our Brock correspondent, our very own Renee Young, Mr. Road Raider himself, Tom Zambino. Hey, Tom.
What's up, Cal? Happy to be here.
So we're gonna let you talk about the Brock Lesnar match because I know you are our official Brock correspondent. So how did you feel about the match? I mean, you going in. I just want to say, on the record, Tom messaged me prior to the pay-per-view even starting. Tom messaged me before the pay-per-view even started, and he goes, "Hey, Cal, I'm just gonna throw this out there. This is how the match is gonna end. It's gonna be AJ going for a phenomenal forearm and Brock catching it into an F5. And we'll tell you if that happened or not. I'm sure Tom will get into that when he goes over his little recap of the match. But my idea was that maybe Jinder Mahal will come out and screw him because, that way you won't have AJ look weak and, Brock will win that match anyway. But then Tom's like, no. They can't make Brock Lesnar look like he needs help for anything. He's got to win cleanly without any help. So go ahead, take it away, Tom. How'd that match go?
The match went a lot longer than our usual Brock Lesnar match. I know at least I do tend to criticize him a lot for not going very long, but because it's AJ Styles, because this was a dream match, they did go a little bit longer, and this was one of the lower builds of the night, so it was kind of, I wouldn't say tough to sell because it wasn't at all. It was one of those dream matches that was just an easy thing that all they had to do was say, "Hey, AJ versus Brock, boom, done." So it gets going, and the most disappointing part was when Brock started dominating, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, "Oh crap, this is going to be another John Cena moment, isn't it?" Where he just wrecks someone, pins it, game over. I thought it was going to be over pretty quickly, but AJ did the cool babyface comeback, nailed a few of his moves, did a really cool 450 off the bouncing off the top rope, and Lesnar was actually selling the crap out of AJ, and I think they fed off each other a lot more than Brock usually does. And one thing I will credit Brock to death about here was he made the calf crusher look dominating. And I love AJ, but his finishers are lame, and the calf crusher is the lamest.
Right.
And Lesnar sold the crap out of that. He acted like it was the worst thing ever because he was hammering on the knee earlier, so bingo, pain. But as Cal mentioned, I called phenomenal forearm into an F5, but he actually hit a phenomenal forearm, and I thought that's where it was going to end. They gave us that little twist where even though Lesnar kicked out, it did look like it landed pretty hard. And then, of course, we ended with my called match where he caught the phenomenal forearm, F5, game over. But it took a lot longer, and we had a lot more fun than the usual Lesnar match, so good for him.
Yeah, so you're right. He did sell that really well. He did that at the beginning of the match with a lot of suplex and stuff. That's why I probably went longer because all he does is throw people and then stand around for like 2 minutes, then throw people again and stand around. So he did go longer, but yeah, with AJ's comeback, that was awesome. And he worked on the knee because you saw him Brock's tweak his knee. He sold that really well. Maybe he sold that calf crusher really well because that's the first time he ever tapped out in UFC was to I think Ken Shamrock's not Frank Mir's knee bar or whatever. So that's probably why he tapped out. Like he was in so much pain. I think maybe AJ missed that last phenomenal forearm because he took off his forearm pad that threw off his equilibrium and maybe the rotation went bad and went right into an F5. But you called him, man. I got to give it to you. It was a great match. Fun to watch. I'd like to see that AJ battled back. I still would love to see Jinder Mahal, but, Another thing that happened weird that night is that when they had the Hindi announce team, they didn't do their normal bit where they go blah, blah, blah in Hindi, and then they say whatever the name of the pay-per-view is. They didn't do that either. So it's a weird night.
I will say, Cal, you did not want to see Jinder versus AJ or Jinder versus Brock. It would have ended much worse than what happened with AJ. You would have seen the Singh brothers get wrecked. That would have probably been the most fun of the part of the match. The Singh brothers would probably get thrown through a table or outside the arena or something. Like Lesnar would literally pick them up and throw them out through the roof.
You'll see on Tuesday they're in India that you see them fall down in India. You see Brock Lesnar throw them, and then on Tuesday SmackDown you see them land in India. It'd be so funny.
But I think they're saving that for like the peak Jinder Mahal moment because you know they're just ratcheting up levels that they destroy the Singh brothers. They're ratcheting up. They're going to build to it.
I think Jinder would take in Brock easily. He had a whole country behind him. That's a billion people behind him, man. And he beat everyone else cleanly. Didn't he beat Cena like twice cleanly or something? And like, there's no way he could take Brock out, no problem. But they got to make Brock look good. So I say they protected Brock by putting AJ in the match. That's how I look at it.
I say they protected our eyes.
What do you think, Alicia? How do you think about that? What do you think about that match?
I thought the match was pretty interesting. Was pretty good. It was actually one of the more interesting Brock Lesnar matches, like Tom said, that I was actually in tune to. Because usually I just like tune his matches out sometimes and like do other stuff. Because I was like, oh, he's gonna win. Why do I need to watch? But I will say, much like they did, I believe it was the Samoa Joe match. They made you believe that Brock might not win this one, even though in the back of your mind you're like, they're not gonna let Brock lose on Survivor Series. Maybe if it was WrestleMania, maybe, but no.
Especially since that would erase like all the intrigue of the main event if SmackDown had won another one. That kind of telegraphed it.
Yeah, but they did very well with. I should say Brock did very well of selling that he might not win this one, which was something that I appreciated because I don't like these 3-second matches with Brock. I mean, I get he's a monster, but I am getting kind of tired of him winning everything and then going away for 10 weeks and coming back. But yeah, like I said, I did enjoy this match a lot, and AJ, as we all know, he's just phenomenal. So anything he does is gonna be great. So I was glad.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't say the phenomenal thing for AJ today yet. Well, I think AJ did a phenomenal job, and Brock did a phenomenal job of selling that calf crusher and his knee stuff. You know what? The reason why I think Brock Lesnar could lose any time and he doesn't mind losing because he doesn't care. He just goes for the paycheck. He gets paid, and that's how it is. You know, like that's how I feel. And like that's why he could lose any time. But like Tom was saying, like, and I was saying earlier, like that you knew it was gonna go 3-3 into the finals, into the final match. You know, because I counted right as soon as I saw as soon as they said, oh, the Raw is up 1-0, they brought a scoreboard up. I'm like, let me count how many matches there are. I count 7 matches. I'm like, oh, you know it's going to go 3-3. And I think I texted you right when that happened, Alicia, when I read that, counted how many matches there were that night. Pre-show didn't count, apparently. So, I don't know.
Pre-show never counts.
Yeah, it never. Well, it does count as tiebreakers. So this year at the time, you'll probably get it on my WrestleMania contest. The pre-show counts as tiebreakers for the WrestleMania contest that I hold every year. But I want to ask you, Tom, was this your favorite Brock match of all the ones you've had since his comeback?
Define comeback.
Since, let's say, prior to Goldberg. What was his feud before Goldberg? Was that like with Cena too? I forgot who he fought before Goldberg.
Owens? Was that
Rollins?
Owens?
Rollins or Reigns? No, he didn't fight Reigns. Oh no, yeah, it was the triple. Wasn't it the triple? Whatever it happened, he fought Reigns, right? The WrestleMania, was that what it? And then Rollins came in and cashed in.
Oh yeah, That was one match. Yeah.
All right, so after WrestleMania, I guess after that. So I guess counting Goldberg and whoever else he fought. Has he only fought Goldberg? I don't even know. No, he fought other people. Samoa Joe, and then he fought somebody else too.
Braun was there.
So yeah, so was this your favorite match from all of them since then? Since the Goldberg days? Including
considering
Goldberg?
I'm having a hard time remembering these. I mean, it was kind of cool to see Goldberg spear the crap out of him and pin him quickly. So that might be the favorite, but this was the best.
Oh, Megan just joined us. Hey, Megan. Oh, yeah. So
the best because it actually gave the other guy for a reasonable amount of time, other than the 2 seconds they gave Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
I feel that would be a good MMA match for them to do, but I don't know about anything else otherwise. So going on to the main event, I know Tom just talked about the Brock Lesnar match. We're going to keep him in to hear his thoughts for the rest of the night and his overall review. The next and final match was we're going in 3-3 tied for Raw and SmackDown, and it's the final Survivor Series elimination match featuring the men now, where Team Raw is captained by Kurt Angle and has Triple H, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, against Team SmackDown, which is captained by Shane McMahon and also has Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, Randy Orton, and John Cena. You heard me say earlier, like the only person who could probably beat Braun is Super Cena, because whenever Super Cena goes off, you know, he can beat anybody. Like he'll probably put Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, The Big Show, And oh yeah, it was Braun Strowman. That's right. So Big Show, Braun Strowman, and Brock on his back, and triple attitude adjustment off the top of the arena. And he'll like walk up all the steps of the arena to get to the top of the arena just to do that. When he's in Super Cena mode, because he never loses when he's Super Cena. Then also I said the Raw does have a disadvantage because if Super Cena shows up and we don't have Demon Finn Balor, remember regular Finn Balor's rating is lower than the Demon Finn Balor's rating, so that is a weakness for Raw there. So we did have regular Finn Balor, not Demon Finn Balor. So this was great. Those little showdowns we saw, like, between Shinsuke and Finn Balor and like Bobby Roode and Triple H, those are just like little hairs were standing on my arms. I have goosebumps. Those are great to see, those little interactions. Cena go against Kurt Angle, because remember John Cena's first match was against like Kurt Angle, if I remember correctly. So like all those little things they did, those are highlights, and like that made the match like go great until we got to the end, which we'll get to in a second. So Braun Strowman proved to be the workhorse for Team Raw. He quickly uses running power slam to eliminate both Nakamura and Roode. So Shinsuke and Roode were nominated. Then Cena and Orton double teamed the Monster Among Men, them to the outside. Then every member of the team SmackDown, even the ones who were eliminated, slammed Braun through the announcer's table. Cena came back in, did an attitude adjustment on Samoa Joe, which eliminated Samoa Joe. Angle came to the ring, locked Cena in an ankle lock, and then hit an angle slam. But Cena was saved by Shane. When the ref escorted Shane out, Balor went to the top and hit the coup de grace on Cena, and then Angle picked up the pin, so Cena was eliminated. Balor then hit the Sling Blade on Orton, but Orton went for another coup de grace, but Orton reversed into an RKO, so now Balor was eliminated. This allowed Team SmackDown to gain some momentum until Sami Zayn and Owens came down to ringside and began attacking Shane. And then Shane picked up a steel chair and started fighting back. Orton aided Shane, but when he returned to the ring, he found himself on the receiving end of a running power slam from a revitalized Strowman. This eliminated Orton. So now Shane was left against three people, which was Triple H, Kurt Angle, and Braun Strowman. And I'm like, there's no way Shane can win this. No way Shane can win this. Like I was texting this right away. I'm like, how is this going to happen if they're going to have him win? There's no way. So then what happens is Angle slams him, then puts him in an ankle lock, and he's writhing in pain. He holds on for a really long time, and then freaking Triple H comes in and pedigrees Angle. Rolls Shane onto Angle. Angle gets pinned and eliminated. Strowman's looking at Triple H like, what the hell are you doing? WWE Universe is echoing that sentiment. Like, what the hell is going on? Then Triple H pedigrees Shane and pins him, and then a Raw win. So the two survivors left are Triple H and Braun Strowman. Yet the announcer said your sole survivors. By definition, a sole survivor is a single person. How are you going to have two sole survivors? Are they talking about their souls combined with a unity candle or something? I don't know. But like, they are not the sole survivors, okay? Maybe because Undertaker didn't come and claim their soul. That's why they're sole survivors. I have no idea. But you can't say soul. I think he meant by soul as in single, like SOLE. You can't have sole survivors as two people. That's my rant about that. And what the hell was going on at the end of the match? I'm going to turn to you guys because I'm so upset. And Megan says you can't see John Cena coming. That's why he's also Super Cena. I'll go to Alicia first. How'd you feel about this match? I know you had the same feelings as me in the beginning of the match because we were talking about that was awesome seeing all that stuff. But in the end, I think we all shared the same thing because I know Tom was messaging me at the same time as well on Twitter. So go ahead. First I'll go to Alicia, then we'll go to Tom.
Yeah, those moments like Angle facing off against Cena, Nakamura, and Finn, and Bobby Roode, and Triple H. This is Survivor Series facing off those combination matches that we may not get in a regular storyline. But you're right, the match was great until we got to the end because we know it's like they're force feeding us Triple H and Angle for WrestleMania when it can just happen naturally. Like it didn't have to be that contrite and off-putting because it just makes you look stupid. I mean, you run a developmental program in NXT, and you're smart in putting up storylines for that. Yet here in a match where you want to show Raw being dominant, you take out your own player for no apparent reason. Like logically, that just makes no apparent sense. So it makes Triple H look stupid. But I did like the face-off between him and Braun at the end of the match. So A+ for Braun. because he's just awesome. He's a monster among men. I don't think that's his tagline, but
It is Monster. Yeah.
what did he say? If you ever
Cross me like that again or something like that.
portray you're gonna cross me like that, I will end you or something. Yes, bro.
And why did Triple H show fear? He's just like, I'll fire you like in a second. Like what like if I was Triple H, I'd be like, okay, you're fired. Because you know how many times like Vince McMahon and when anyone says like you are fired, like you don't think Triple H has learned from that in all these years?
Best for business, Cal. It's not best for business if he
Right.
fires him.
That is true. So Tom, your thoughts on the final match and everything that transpired? Yeah.
So here's where we're gonna differ, because you guys were talking about how great the match was until the end. I thought the match was lame. It was like not just lame. I thought it was horrible. I was bored most of the time. I don't care about these stare downs, these little moves, and then let's stare down for a couple more minutes. No, that was lame.
You didn't like the
And
gamesmanship between Finn Balor and Shinsuke?
no,
Really?
like yes, once Finn and Nakamura actually got going for a couple seconds, it was great. But then they stopped and stared at each other some more. Like, okay, there's only so much loving stare downs I can take before it starts getting annoying. And it's I have many issues with the main event. One being, stop trying to make Shane McMahon happen. It's not going to happen. He's not a wrestler. You put him if you put him in a Hell in a Cell match or a hardcore match, he can do fine because he's insane. But if you put him in a regular match, it's boring. It's and once again, once Shane came in, energy just drops because Shane is terrible. The Throughout the entire match, Booker T kept referring. I know Booker T's up there in age, but he kept referring to the newer NXT guys as young men, which I get it, they're fairly new to the company, but Nakamura's almost 40. He's closer to 40 than he is to 30. He's not a young man anymore. Samoa Joe's the same age as Cena. They're not young.
Also, don't forget, Booker T's one of the worst announcers ever, so he probably doesn't know what's going on anyway.
This is true. And when they slammed Braun through the table, that was kind of I get you're trying to portray Braun as a big man, but that didn't make any logical sense. Because Cena can pretty much lift anyone. He's lifted the Big Show many times. He could lift Braun on his own and AA him through the table, but apparently he couldn't suplex him with help. So suddenly it takes every single person just to, turn him over. That was lame. And then they finally got to a little bit of action after the loving stare downs, and they just quick fire elimination. And I was actually thankful for Triple H's pedigree because I was kind of sick of seeing Shane wallow around in that ankle lock for a while. They either tap or please tap and end this match is what I was.
That's what I wanted
for a while, and it would have been better if he just like pedigreed him through Angle on top, and then Strowman came in, or literally something other than staring at Strowman for about a couple minutes afterwards. Just, I know you're trying to fill some time here, but come on, give me a break.
But what purpose? Like, so what purpose did that last thing have besides Triple H making it about himself?
Exactly.
A tap out, give Shane a little more pain by pedigreeing him.
Makes Angle look stupid, right? I don't know, man. I was just upset with that. That's why it was funny when Triple H walked into the freaking light board while he's walking out on a fan cam. Like if you look up on a fan cam or anything, just look it up. It's hilarious. He's like selling it. And then he turns around and walks, boom, right into the thing and like collapses. And like Stephanie's like, oh my God. Like it was like all legit, like really happening. So it was really funny.
Yeah. I would have agreed if they hadn't done that whole Triple H Angle thing. I'd have been like, this is a pretty good match. A match better than it had any right to be with Shane being in it. Yeah. I would just wish the only thing I would change is that Randy Orton would go up first. That's what I would change.
Right. And I still would want to see that, like, Cena pick up Braun Strowman, Big Show, and Brock Lesnar and carry him to the top of the arena and throw him out. Because that would be funny. But like, because you know what's funny? When I went to WrestleMania, I think it was WrestleMania 20 that I went to. He tried to pick up the Big Show and he couldn't do it. So then he had those shoes back in the day that you pump up, the Reebok pumps.
Oh,
He pumped them up and then he was able to pick them up, and that was hilarious. I thought that was funny. So, stuff like that is good to see. So I guess we'll start with Tom first. Or is Joe around? Does he want to go through his low, high, and overall grade?
yeah. I mean, I just said yeah like I'm speaking for him. Did you want to come over? I'm sitting on the floor. That's probably why he wasn't sitting next to me.
So Joe, coming down from the rafters.
Get up from the floor.
Yeah. What was your low point, your high point, and your overall grade of the pay-per-view?
I would say low points probably. I mean all the matches were very good and very very quality. And I'm thinking like there's like two matches I could pick for the low point. One would be your favorite match of the Miz versus Baron Corbin. But I would say if I'm just gonna pick a point, I would say it's probably when Triple H delivered the pedigree to his own team captain Kurt Angle, and then dragged Shane's fairly lifeless body over Angle to eliminate Angle, because I feel like that was just a cheap way to start building the whole Angle versus Triple H match for WrestleMania or whenever it's going to happen, because we know it's going to be for Control Raw, of course. And then the high point of the night, I would say the whole show. But if I were to pick just any one match, and I would probably say the match between the Bar and the Usos, even though I wasn't like completely watching it because I was also watching the Eagles game at the same time, so I kind of had like two different conflicting interests. But I'd say that match between the two tag team champions was very good and delivered very well. And an overall grade for the pay-per-view, I'd say an A. It's probably the best pay-per-view they've put on in quite some time, and I don't know if they'll do it again.
Let's hope for Royal Rumble though, because I'll be there. Because all these seems like all these big four pay-per-views have been very good. And might I add, I love your shirt. That's a great shirt that you're wearing right now, Joe.
I've only had it for 12 years.
The first time I've ever seen it, so I'm just saying.
I know.
I love it. All right, so I'm gonna go to Tom now. Tom, your low point, your high point, and then your overall grade.
I wanted to start out by also giving a shout out to the Delaware shirts, repping my home state. But let's see. My low point, it's not gonna be a point, but more like an overarching story of the entire pay-per-view. And my low point is the treatment of the non-WWE guys, AJ Styles, Nakamura, Finn, the guys that like made their name elsewhere. Because not only was AJ thrown around like a rag doll for most of the match, and that looked really rough on him. The main event, it was all about your old dudes like Angle and Cena and Triple H and Shane. Meanwhile, dudes like Nakamura, Joe at least got a decent pin, but Balor, Nakamura, Rude, they were dispatched rather easily, and that kind of bothered me a bit. And it was because I hated the main event so much, drags the whole thing down to a B minus for me. It's still a solid pay per view, but God, that tag team match sucked because you knew SmackDown was going to lose.
What about your high point?
Oh, I did forget the high point. My high point, I wanted to be different and actually go with Baron Corbin winning, because I think Baron Corbin is pretty awesome. I think he's got a lot of potential, and he needed a big kind of a win to hang his hat on. Like he had the money in the bank, but then the embarrassment of losing it, probably because of all the backlash against him. But I think he's got a lot going for him, and the U.S. title is going to help him a lot. And beating the Miz really kind of helps legitimize that a bit. Like he needed this way more than the Miz. Miz is
Right.
cool, but Corbin needs to get something going for him, and I think this could be the start of something for him.
I could agree
All
with
right.
that.
All right, Delisha, what about you?
I'm sorry, Tom, but the low point was that Triple H angle thing, whatever the hell that was, because it just brought down the feeling of the match. I do get your points about burying the uh the non-company guy, so to speak. But I don't know. They all had moments in that match, and then for the writers or whoever made that decision, probably Vince, to go with that whole Triple H angle thing was just disheartening. But because that just brought down that whole build up to the end of the match. My high point, I'm gonna go a little off the cuff, and I'm gonna say that that Tamina and Nia face off because, like I said, they give me life. I just really love seeing these two strong women get in the ring, and they didn't really get to go all out because we're pressed for time. But it's a little tease of what we might see at some point in the future. My overall grade is going to be an A minus, just because of that angle Triple H thing. That this had a potential to be A plus, but they wanted to go to something stupid as they always do on a Survivor Series match. But overall, I enjoyed it.
All right, so like I'm kind of like a mixture between what you guys say, but you know what you guys were saying about like the whole thing about
Hey,
the people who are buried for not being part of. Do you expect anything different from Vince McMahon and Triple H? No, because when Adrian first came in, who did he lose to? Like Chris Jericho, right? In that match, when Sting, his like one, you thought it would be his one and done only match in WWE. He's like the biggest name in WCW history. What do you think is gonna happen? I thought he was gonna win. No, he can't. He can't beat Triple H. God forbid he beats Triple H. So like that's expected now, especially for these lesser known. I mean, I love AJ Styles. He's my favorite wrestler in that promotion that we won't even mention. But like, I didn't expect them to do like big names. But like Finn Balor was the first Universal Champion. Let's not forget that and stuff like that. So and like AJ's already the champion right away. So I'm giving them something. Like they're getting something. Maybe they didn't show it in this match, but or that night.
I didn't say buried. I just said of the night.
Of the night. I know. I'm just saying, but like, what? It's just what you could expect from these guys, like Vince McMahon and all those guys. So my low point was actually the same as Leisha. I think the last 5 minutes of the main event, the whole Angle Triple H, Shane McMahon debacle thing, and also let's not forget Little Miss Bliss losing because I was really upset about that. And the Miz losing as well, I guess. But overall, it had to be that last 5 minutes of the main event. High point of the match was definitely the bar and Usos match because I loved it. And plus just the entrance alone. I just watched that bar entrance over and over and over and over. I love that entrance. Yeah, so I wasn't gonna let that little 5 minutes of the whole pay-per-view of almost a 4-hour pay-per-view ruin my rating. So I'm gonna actually give my A, my first ever A. And if you read the Wrestle report or the AfterMat report card for this, I actually gave it 5 bells out of 5 bells, which I never do because I think this was a great card overall, and I wasn't gonna let 5 minutes of it ruin my rating. And I don't believe in an A plus being a teacher. Like when you're in like elementary school, yeah, you give A pluses out, but we don't have that in college or graduate school. So A is the highest grade you can get. So I'm gonna go with an A. And overall, that's pretty much it. So just before we wrap up, I just want to say the next time you'll see us, I want to thank everyone for joining us. And the next time you're going to see us is we're going to be talking about
Clash
of Champions on December 18th because it's going to be on December 17th. And that's a SmackDown brand pay-per-view and might be the last pay-per-view of the year. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. It is? Okay, thank you. Because, they usually have like Armageddon at the end of the year as well. So who knows? But I guess according to our fact checker, it's our last pay-per-view of the year. So December 18th. We're going to go to Tom first, who I know we just had recently had a Cars and Popcorn special edition season finale, I think it was. So, Tom, where can we find you and what have you been up to and what's coming up in the future?
Yes, we did have a Cars and Popcorn special yesterday. That was not the season finale, actually. But you can find it yesterday on my YouTube channel. Just look up Zed reviews. I'm pretty sure I'm the only guy with anything close to that. So you can check that out. We had Cal and a bunch of other folks on to talk about Batman and various vehicles of Batman. In a couple weeks, on December 3rd, we will have the actual season finale, which I've been keeping secret on who the guest is going to be and what movie. But I will say anyone that has done my trivia should probably tune into that one. I think they'll really like it. So December 3rd.
No, I said it's Brock Lesnar.
It's not. It's not Brock Lesnar.
Is it Henry Ford?
Is not Henry Ford. That'd be weird working for GM talking about Henry Ford. But
I know that's what I tease you about every time because I know you work for GM now, but I always say you work for Ford because that meme I sent you.
But also next Monday I will be on Gamer Grudge, so you can watch me try to flail my way through another game discussion.
I'm going to spoil it right now. Tom's guest next week is going to be Bumblebee, the actual car, and it's going to transform into a person and talk. So,
I believe it.
So Delisha, where can we find you and Joe? I know you got to give Joe's little plug first. Find him on Facebook. He might add you or not.
Yeah, find him on Facebook at Joseph Butler. He may add you. He may not. Go ahead and try and see what happens. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Delisha_Renee. And you can find me on the various Odd Shape panel shows throughout the week or writing articles for them on their Odd Shape channel website.
Okay, you can find me on Twitter at VerangeDejaVu. Also, yeah, you can find me, I guess, on Gamer Grudge next week. I completely forgot about that. Thank you, Tom, for reminding me. Then I also started a new show called Flashpoints where I give you the hot points from this week's episode of every week's episode of Flash in under 5 minutes, so in a flash. And I also start a new show, a Gamer Grudge expansion pass, where I interview fighters from the show. So hopefully I can get Tom Zambino on one day and talk about his gaming lifestyle and all that. So that should be cool. So I guess until next time, we are for our thank you to our Brock correspondent Tom Zambino at Road Raider 3, right? 3? There's a 3 in there. Because I guess there's 2 other. I guess the Road Warriors are taken. They took Road Warrior 1 and 2, but then they took Road Raider 1 and 2 as well. So Tom had to take 3.
Nope. There's a long story behind 3, but sure, let's go with yours.
Maybe we'll get into that during the interview session for Gamer Grudge or a Gamer's Chair. And for Delisha, the Glamazon, and our fact checker Joe from the he's back up in the rafters, I think, with the crow. There's his hand coming from the rafters. I'm the People's Champ Cal, and we'll see you next time for Clash of Champions. So thank you guys very much, and we'll see you then.
See you in a couple weeks.